Okay, James, here you go. Oh, wow. That sounds exciting. You mean including Project X?
Yes.
Okay.
Every project should be called Project X. It sounds cool.
Except then I start calling him Racer X. That's his project, so he got funded to do Project X
Okay.
with the foundation. So it is to do
We have some soda out here. If anybody wants one.
Oh, yes, I know.
I'm just setting up the Hangout, guys. Sorry for.
Wow. Yeah, I can too.
It's not what I meant to do at all. Sorry. I just confused myself.
I'm Gene.
Hi, Jim.
Hey.
Hey, Peter.
They let you in too.
Yes.
Because I have a badge. Peter, thank you for your support for my space project. James, other than coming here to take the photo, I have something to talk to you about. SD cards for the 2015 launch. SanDisk just came out with a 512 gigabyte SD card. Yes, it's in reference because their very first SD card was 512 megabyte or bytes. Or that. Kilobytes, yeah, whatever. I don't even know the term. Well, I was hoping that I could send them an email saying you donate 2 cards and tell them we want to send them in doc space. However, I am not a 501c organization. With me, you see it. So that I use the shell, your shell for a tax benefit. Basically, it would donate it to the DC.
Yeah.
I would use it on the space station.
Or it would be done with the on the space station and you'd be a volunteer for these.
And I'd use a full payload specialist. I'm very snarky today, am I not, Jim?
Payload specialist assumes you go with the payload.
I'm the cultural payload specialist.
Well, I understand. I'm just saying, payload specialist is the name of that.
Yes, I know exactly what they invented a term called payload specialist for the teacher, the first teacher in space who died on her trip.
And Congressman.
State holiday.
When John Gunn was a payload specialist.
And Jake Brown. Yeah. And another one, third one, three. And Mr. Nelson, I think, that's the one that got.
Well, I would like to be the local payload specialist. Is that okay? I might consider the social media person. I'll write up and hopefully the CCU if that's successful.
Mine, so you're asking for two 512 people. How much storage will I actually need? You need to fit on top.
So that's the thing. Right now, Peter put me into, there's something called offline. They have a three child-friendly versions of this all online. I'm hoping to put that up if you want to see.
There's a blog post about it like 2 months ago on the Wikipedia blog about, they used a Pi web, hotspot, and they put a SD card with the offline on it. And then they let everybody, so it was instant hotspotting after that.
So
read the blog, they
VW.
I will look for it was 2 months ago. The way you do it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll CC you. Thank you for your consideration and also your patience. I understand it is a basic definition type, but it's very oddball.
Space launches take time.
Yes. And thank you for your patience. It's like being later on, I plan to take photos. Gerald Shields. I apologize, I won't be able to attend, but I will take photos and make sure it's posted. So
Make sure that.
yes.
Hey, Alice.
I'm
I have a few announcements. Which
Yes.
are,
Yes, I'm a weirdo.
and they
Like,
won't take long, and then you have some announcements.
Trust me.
I'm just putting this as the
In
link to
this
the
room,
page
you
on
would not
the
consider
computer.
it a weirdo. Actually,
Shortcut.
it would,
There is a shortcut. You can
am I
put
not a
TL on
weirdo
one.
with my space mission?
Right, but it's like, there's still a lot there. I just
I'm
want
not
to-
sure.
I don't know. I'm this confused.
Electronic copy.
That's good.
Okay.
Sociologists are kind of weird compared to the hard sciences.
We are the weirdos of the science.
Yeah.
Not worried to be here. Thank you. Hey, Jim.
Hey, good to
See you.
Hi. Thank you everyone for coming. Sorry, being just kind of getting some stuff together. This is the.
I love it when they give no problems on any whatsoever.
This is the event, the link to the event that's on Wikipedia, which actually doesn't have the to-do list anymore, but it did, and there's a link to the to-do list from there. And that's the one that I have a short URL for. So.
It was a very last minute thing. I didn't do this. I hope that I meant to read it.
Oh, not at all. At first, when I first saw it, it said last updated by anonymous user because I was on mobile, and somebody had updated it since then, and I was like, seriously, some anonymous person just did this? And then when I was actually looking at the history, and then I saw, so it wasn't. No, I think it's great. I totally trust your actions there. So, no, you weren't. But but since that had happened, someone else had anonymously. So what it looked like to me at first was that somebody had done that anonymously. It was just a first moment of like, wait, what happened? Okay.
Yeah, someone did edit it anonymously.
Yeah. Some of the like for signups and
Was it
stuff.
like adding a comment? It was probably.
It was like moving their sign up from one place to another, and I think that they had signed themselves up anonymously at the beginning. Anyway, no, yeah, it's really
I
fine.
know what
They make me do this the hard way.
So this is like
Sorry, I missed it. What is
No,
the
it's
name
okay.
of the wireless? Is it called Event?
oh, it's called the clearing, and that's the one.
Clearing. Thank you.
Oh, hey, Sarah, welcome.
Thank
You survived. Your own.
Always have enough
Did
t-shirts.
you get?
I wasn't there.
Yes. I got my working teacher.
Oh, I think I got it. Awesome. I think I got it.
I can move my computer.
Oh, whoops, no.
Now you can, yeah, I have the Hangout going on my laptop, but nobody's looking at it, so not yet. Let's see if I can get, I don't really know if I'm doing, someone should like check this because it feels like the link was not correct, but I'm not really sure. Like when I clicked on it earlier, let me see, I'll click on it from a different browser. That's what I'll do.
Oh, the Hangout.
I'm gonna try to click on it from a different browser and see what happens. Yeah, that link was not good, so that's good. So let me try to fix that. Crap. Why would that? Oh, whatever.
That's amazing.
Yes, you are.
A long bench.
Feel free to.
That's how we do this. Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it.
Feel free to tell the photographer to go bug
Hi,
out.
I'm Sharon. So, Marina.
You got it.
Yeah,
Well,
Gerald, nice to meet you.
we have difficulty with personality rights thing. So they kind of assume you don't have any rights until you show up and say.
I like
And
it.
then they're not, and then I'm trying to be nice and take it down, but it's a bad way to do it.
1, 2. Yes, I will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Central.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Perfect. And the shadow. You can always look.
They trust you.
Or you can turn visual editor on. You want to turn visual editor on. If you don't like HTML.
Yeah, it's not there. I don't understand. I'm just trying to get the right link. It's the link that Google gave me, but obviously it's not the correct link. Okay, I'll share this link. That might be the right one.
It's very easy.
Okay. Okay. The fixed, I think that the fixed link on the, by the, I'm attending virtually. Okay. Try that now, I think. And I'll just make a note at the top of the page. It's fixed. Yeah, that's what it was supposed to be. So I need to change the link text, but I just wanted to get the URL there. That's what it, I think that's the way that I'm supposed to do it. It doesn't feel right though, right? But it definitely broadcast, I guess you can't, because you can hear me here. I don't know if it's, oh. Would you mind turning, is your sound on or off?
Oh, I'll turn it off.
No, on, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I
wanna see
can
it.
hear you.
Oh, coming out of your computer? Oh, good.
Yeah, that's what it's
Oh, it's delayed, I see.
delayed.
Okay.
That's what it.
It still doesn't seem right, but I'm not sure how else to.
You want to record it?
No, I just am trying to broadcast it. I guess that's good enough. It's just not really Hangouty. It's just on YouTube. But I guess that's good enough. I just need to update the link text so that it's accurate. Thank you. Sorry, I'm in your way.
Joe, average professor, no secondary sources, fails academic criteria, maybe known to somebody, but not sure yet.
That's hard.
Yes.
But true.
Welcome to, of course, this has already been through AFT, but.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, but they're not. One's from Harvard, one's from the American.
I have something to
I have something too.
American Physics Society. You know, not notable, you know.
These are all the women's in tech.
Well, see, if you don't have the depth of
I
it.
don't know what I'm
This is what goes on. I'm sorry.
It's best at the beginning to edit on that already exists.
Well,
I'm not doing it arguing.
I think your idea is probably better. I'm,
It is. It's like 19.5%.
Yeah, listen, I feel like we should wait
Yeah.
still because
Okay.
people are coming.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yes, it'll-
That's fine with me.
Just remember to copy it out here somewhere.
See?
That's a good setting. Oh, come on.
That's like an
The best setting is.
Where would you like to be?
No, the best writing is
Oh.
you
Yeah, somewhere. But I don't have a high place. I don't have a higher place for this. Okay. And I think Peter is going to do an out. Yeah. Okay.
Nothing's sad.
So there's one viewer. I don't know who it is. It might be Regina, who was testing it for me, but they can hear you supposedly. But for them, it actually looks. Okay, so sorry. Start. That's the important part here. Chrome. There. So this is sharing this window with the slides.
Okay.
It is not sharing any other window except that it can hear you and whatever. So, that also means that
Can we go full
if
screen? Or
yes, this should be.
See how it looks.
So you still have that up there?
It's a delay.
It's a delay. So in a moment, could you let me know if it goes just or whenever? Okay, it should. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, not yet. Not yet. It's a delay.
Okay. It is not sharing any other window except for
I hate listening to your own voice on recording. It's just.
I'll turn it down.
No. You're fine. It's not you.
Oh, I just wanted to listen.
Awesome. Okay. So, thank you. Okay. It's supposed to work with the Hangout thing. I just don't really know. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's showing it on YouTube is the way that it looks
Yes.
for the other person instead of it being like this, which is what I was hoping, but whatever. So that also means like you can switch to this and the person, they will see that too. That's all I just wanted to say real quick.
I think I'll run downstairs and see if anybody got stuck in security.
Cool. Thank you.
And
Do you want to do
Bree was
announcements
down there.
first, or
It can
oh
be
yeah,
a-
Bree's down there. Good point.
Is she already there?
Yeah, and I also think that she has to be the person.
It has to be her, I know,
Right.
but at least
So
I could find out.
Yeah, she just told me where to go.
Well, then I'll just check on her.
did you
I can
want?
make my announcements after Sarah's done, I think,
Okay. Okay.
or before. So you're going to start now?
I don't
Let
know.
Allison welcome.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll be back in
It's
a
up to
couple.
you.
Yes. I'm just getting some water. Okay. I guess could you read that now? And thank you so much for reaching out.
Oh, yeah. No. Thank you very much. It's like,
Awesome. Thank you guys for coming to our, okay, here. Thank you for joining us for our Tech LadyMafia Women in Technology Wikipedia Edit-a-thon. I'm Allison McCauley. I've been, I guess, organizing this with WikiDC. I'm not a public speaker, and I am going to turn this over to Sarah so that we can get right to training and then right to editing. There are beverages out there, and there will be food later. Sarah.
Yay! Thank you, Allison, for bringing this together. It's awesome.
My pleasure. I'm very excited.
So, hi, everybody. My name's Sarah, and I'm going to walk you through some kind of first steps in how to edit Wikipedia. And if you have questions, feel free to stop me in the middle. But we're in good hands today because we were very lucky to have some pretty expert Wikipedians in the room, as well as maybe people who might be trying it for the first time. So it's a good ratio, I think. Okay, I'm going to go screen here. So first of all, I also want to thank Wikimedia DC, give a little shout out to them. They're the tech ladies in the room who are not ladies. We are Wikimedia DC members. I know, right? They're super awesome. They're advocates and allies, and have helped me learn to edit Wikipedia and be more successful on the platform. So I really appreciate that they're here today. And they all have greater editing expertise than I do. So I also want to give a plug for the GlamWiki community. Now, GLAM stands for Galleries, Libraries, Archives, and Museums, and I've worked in all of the above. And I love that those organizations have found partners in the Wikimedia community to help bring those free educational resources to a wider public. So if you're interested in how museums and libraries partner with Wikipedia, I'd love to talk about that topic, but that's not what we're going to get into today. So I thought maybe before we did anything else, we might want to go around the room and introduce ourselves. That will help me understand what your level of experience is and just have at least first names. So I'm going to start over here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Francesca. I'm actually from the University of Virginia. I'm a sociologist that's studying media and society, and in particular women, and part of that participation. So this is my second edit-a-thon. I'm sort of an observer. If you don't want me to observe or you at all, just say like, I'm not cool with that and that's cool. I'll just look at other people. But I'm really happy to be here, and I might also walk around and see if any of you want to talk to me more in depth too, but I'm just super psyched about edit-a-thons.
What was your first one?
My first one was at the DC Public Library like 2 weeks ago.
Awesome.
So I'm very new, very new.
Hi, my name is Cayenne. I have background in architectural design and also international business. This is my first time here, never done this before, so I'm just curious and see what's going on and how it's been done. So I'm an observer.
Hi, my name is Kylie. I am also a first timer. This is totally my version editor from Wikipedia. Even newer than you. And so I'm just also curious. We're sisters, so we come together and find out what it's all about. And try to make some contribution, hopefully.
Great.
I'm Peter. I'm from the Wiki DC chapter. I have edited before.
I'm Regina. This is my second Edit-a-thon, and I work in content strategy. My name's Gloria. I work in TV and film production, and this is my first time editing.
I'm Jim Hayes, user architect. They just made me change. I tend to hang out on Wiki Commons and Wiki Source stuff. Very happy to see Sarah yet again. She's a very planned person. So.
And if you have any questions about images and how images work in the ecosystem of Wikipedia, Jim's your go-to person to answer technical questions.
Always had stories.
Yeah. Mr. Hare?
Yes, I'm James Hare, with Wikimedia DC, and I'd like to thank you all for coming to today's event. I'm also with a project that's trying to improve collaboration on Wikipedia. So today I created a brand new wiki project called Wiki Project Women in Technology. And I want to see if it's possible that if there's a well-designed central coordinated effort, can we continue working on articles on women in technology after today's event? Not just with people in DC, but people from around the world. Is it possible? We will find out.
Hi everyone, my name is Gerald Shields. I have a day job, but as a passion project, I am trying to fight systemic bias against systemic bias within Wikipedia by making sure that there's photographs of women editing articles in Wikipedia. That way, yeah, thank you. So what I did is in 2012, I took a photograph, my very first one of the event that was sponsored by
At the archives.
Heather at the Women's Museum, and that photograph was used by Sarah in London.
Representation. All right.
I'm Allison. This is my second Edit-a-thon, and the first one that I was at, I was there for just a couple of hours. So I'm very, very new to this. Now I guess I've made a bunch of edits to the event page. So I've racked up some numbers in that sense, I suppose. But as far as regular articles, I've uploaded one photo and put it into one page. It was extremely exciting, also a little stressful, but it went well. I think didn't get undone as far as I know. So that was great. I'm so happy that you guys are here, and I'm very excited for. I am hoping to get more comfortable with editing Wikipedia and make more than one edit. So that is my goal.
Kristen?
I'm Kristen with the unpronounceable name user Djembe's, like djembe drums. Let's see, I have well over 25,000 edits on Wikipedia, and I'm a former VP of the DC chapter, and I have been fighting the fight for African Americans and women, and I just lost my battle on the list of African American women in technology yesterday, but I was pleading to keep it in the encyclopedia for this event.
Wait, list of African American
I think we
women.
had a
In technology that we started at the White House Office of
Edit-a-thon.
Science and Technology Policy Edit-a-thon, despite invoking the Edit-a-thon and blah, 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 they decided they had to move it into the draft page with a person who is one of my nemeses, right? Nemesis, saying a rubbish list
Double gang.
of non-notable people. And I posted a Jimmy Wales talk page yesterday.
Oh.
I said,
You troublemaker.
I asked him for what he thought about racism versus systemic bias, and was there a calm, measured, and something other, a considerate way to deal with this question that some people were arguing there wasn't a single African American person in technology who was notable enough for Wikipedia's standards. I didn't say it quite that way, but no one has said anything back, which is kind of unusual if you post something on a Jimmy Wales talk page. People don't.
So I'm hoping we can maybe, I did put one woman in real quick, but I'm hoping we might be able to get another African American in technology just to prove these barbarians from across the pond.
Yeah.
Wrong.
And Kristen also has the best of the Wikipedia swag.
Oh, the coveted.
So much Wikipedia swag.
Yeah.
Yes. These are, if you ever need, if you ever want to go to an event in Washington, but you don't happen to have press credentials, just borrow a nice camera and get yourself one of these bags. And you walk and you say, I'm covering this event for Wikipedia. And everybody acts like you're from the New York Times. So I'm giving you a little social engineering thing. It's $150 plus shipping. I think it hasn't gone up. And so for $150, you have the equivalent of a press credential. And it could be a real useful trick for you sometime. I mean, you might be the only person covering the 50th anniversary of the MLK March with your little iPhone camera or iPad even, you know. So, yeah.
Thank you. You illustrate my points that I want to make about community better than I ever could. So a few years ago, when I made my first edit on Wikipedia, I had no idea that there was an active community of people working together, communicating to make this encyclopedia happen. I don't know how I thought it was coming together, but I just didn't realize how vibrant and how interconnected the social side of the Wikipedia community was. So we all use Wikipedia probably every day, I think, at this point. What do we know about how it's made, where it comes from, how to check the quality of things? Most of us just take it for granted. So I want to hopefully demystify it a little bit today and also give you some tools for how you can become involved in contributing to it. So first thing to know about Wikipedia is it's the free encyclopedia, and it's free in many senses of the word. It's given away for free, and it's maintained by unpaid volunteers. So it's something that is a public good, as they like to say. It's something we can all share. The software that underlies it is MediaWiki, which I thought for women in technology would be a relevant point. People want to know what it's made of. So that's the technology. All of the content, as I said, is maintained by volunteers, and then the Wikimedia Foundation supports the infrastructure and some of the sort of light staffing around keeping it up and running. They don't do content work, but they'll work on the software and they'll work on keeping the servers up and all of those things and doing other advocacy. But it is a nonprofit educational project. There's no ads on Wikipedia, which is great, and it's really it's an educational effort. Another thing to know about it is that all edits on Wikipedia and all versions are recorded indefinitely, which is a great relief if you're trying to work on something and you're not really sure if you're ready to go live yet. You can always roll it back, or someone else will roll it back for you. So you can't break it. It's always able to be reverted to the previous version. So you can not worry too much about breaking it. This count is already out of date. I think I got the number last week, but we're well towards 5 million articles in English, and there are 35 million articles in 288 different languages. So Wikipedia and Wikimedia is really a global movement and a global resource, and that's another important thing to know about it. So there's this quote I like from Clay Shirky that a Wikipedia article is a process, not a product, and this is an important thing to remember the first time you get an edit reverted, right? So you work really hard on something and then it gets rolled back. That's not the end. That's the beginning of a conversation. There's a lot of back and forth, discussion, negotiation that goes on, figuring out, is my contribution improving the encyclopedia? If not, why? And what are the things I need to do to make sure that I am improving the encyclopedia with my contributions? And conversations about process and about the community happen on this other site called Meta. So it's a subdomain, meta.wikimedia.org, and that's a place to find out more about, how the sausage gets made if you want to go into the community side. And I think the community side is kind of what's missing for many people's understanding. We all understand that a wiki is a thing that anybody can edit. It's sort of an easy way to add content, but the community is really the secret sauce of Wikipedia. The policing of vandalism that goes on, the intense dedication to different subject areas that you see. There are people who find a topic that's their thing on Wikipedia, and they will so lovingly and carefully tend it over the course of their lifetime as this volunteer project. And that's very inspiring to see as someone who works in cultural sector, that we're all working together towards freely sharing knowledge. And just a fun slide about how big Wikipedia is. If we printed it all out into Britannica-sized volumes, I love this little widget that somebody built that like automatically updates with when new articles are added, and it shows you, how it would look in the stacks in your library if you printed out the whole encyclopedia in volumes.
And apropos of that slide, we are so glad to have you here to add significant content instead of articles about people's cats and GarageBand. This is just great having you.
There's some notable cats, though. We don't want to take anything away from the cats.
There are some notable cats, yes,
but also humans. So one question people ask, who or what merits a Wikipedia article? What deserves its own Wikipedia article? And what is the standard by which we can decide whether or not an article is necessary for a topic or a person? And the rule of thumb is that if a person or topic has been covered in a significant way in reliable sources independent of the subject, it can be included in the Wikipedia. So that means that a reliable source might be the New York Times wrote a profile of me, and so there's a pretty good chance that I am notable because I am worthy of publication, or a profile of me is worthy of being published in a reliable secondary source. Now, if I wrote a blog about myself that was a profile of me, that would not be independent, so that wouldn't count, wouldn't be a good source of information about me. And I may not be notable just because I'm self-publishing. So you can read more about notability and how to sort of make the judgment about who's notable or what is notable in Wikipedia's standards. And down at the bottom here, you can see there's actually a whole set of criteria about notability. And I'll teach you my favorite Wikipedia hack if you have it up right now. If you want to search for something on Wikipedia about Wikipedia, it's actually pretty hard to do. Like if you just type the keywords like notability into the search box in English Wikipedia or any Wikipedia, you're going to get encyclopedia articles, but you may not get that kind of meta level information, documentation about a policy. So in order to do that, you need to search, it's called the Wikipedia namespace. So in the search box, put in WP:. There's type ahead auto suggest, and it will let you keep looking for topics that way, but it's a way to get to policies about Wikipedia on Wikipedia, is typing WP: in the search box before you do your search. And that just filters on only kind of community content, policy content. So if you're interested in notability, and there are actually these shortcuts, right? Sometimes you don't even have to type the whole thing out. You can type in WP:N, that'll take you right to notability. So other things to know about content on Wikipedia, the standards that editors hold contributors to, strives to be neutral. It's not supposed to be biased towards any one point of view or another. It should be verifiable. So if you state a fact, it should be cited with that secondary source, that authoritative secondary source, the article that proves that fact, right? The book, the newspaper article, the thing that proves what you're saying. No original research. It's the same notion. Just because I know it in my head doesn't mean it belongs on Wikipedia. I need to figure out where I learned that from, or where is a reliable source or book I can point to that proves I'm not the only one who knows this. One way of thinking about it is Wikipedia is a tertiary source, right? That's summarizing all the secondary sources. So any unpublished data or opinions don't belong in the encyclopedia. Another important philosophy, assume good faith towards other editors, even when they do things you don't like.
Yes.
Until you have evidence to the contrary that they're not acting in good faith, you kind of have to go into it with the attitude that, well, maybe they just don't understand, and don't go right into assuming they're just a jerk. They may be a jerk, but let's assume that they're not a jerk until they prove otherwise. And then finally, avoid conflict of interest edits. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in detail. So, can I edit the Wikipedia article about the place that I work? Or about my boss? Or about my grandma? Maybe she was notable. Maybe she was the first person to do something very interesting, and she totally deserves a Wikipedia article. So I have an interest when I write about my workplace or my grandma, and I may have a conflict of interest. So the answer is, it depends, maybe. Maybe I can edit this article. It's a gray area. So the test here is, are the outside interests more important to an editor than advancing the aims of Wikipedia, the free sharing of knowledge that's neutral and cited? As long as your #1 priority is making a better, more useful encyclopedia article and you cite your sources, you can probably edit most articles. If you happen to be notable, and for your sakes, I hope none of you are because it seems to be a glorious burden, you shouldn't edit the article about yourself, probably ever. But the article about other people that you know or things you know a lot about, you can make factual corrections. You can improve the article by adding citations, I think, right? When it's clearly making a better encyclopedia article under certain conditions. And I'm going to go into that too. Okay. First of all, there are 2 ways to edit Wikipedia. One is logged in with a user account, and one is anonymously. Part of building trust and being a member of the community includes, I think, registering an account. You don't have to register an account, but I feel that it's a way to disclose that you are participating with a community that you know has standards. It's a signal to those editors around you that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sign up. I'm going to be an active participant. You can also disclose your affiliation. So I work in the Smithsonian American Art Museum, and I say on my user page where I work, and I say what I'm doing on Wikipedia related to my work. Sometimes I'll work on articles related to organizations that I know about, sometimes artists that are in the collections of my museum. And I say very upfront, anybody who's got an issue or thinks that I might be in conflict of interest, please talk to me, please contact me. I'm going to be fully upfront about everything I'm doing. I want to be transparent and I want to have a conversation. So that's a value that I think is really important on Wikipedia, this transparency and letting people know, what you're up to. When you're sneaky, when you're not signing it, you're not logging in as you, but you're editing anonymously. Let's say you, I don't know, work for the NYPD and you want to scrub some references to some scandals from some Wikipedia articles and you don't log in with an account, your IP address is recorded and people can trace you to your physical location. So first of all, you're giving up some privacy when you, when you edit, that's right. When you edit supposedly anonymously, it's less anonymous than probably registering like a fake handle. And Jim raises a good point about the Twitter bot that can be created like Congress Edits, at Congress Edits, which automatically tweets any Wikipedia edit that originates on Capitol Hill. Anonymous IP edit, so we all know what the staffers are working on up there or removing from the encyclopedia. So being upfront, registering an account and disclosing your affiliations is a way to kind of head off any accusation of conflict of interest. And then making sure that you're improving the encyclopedia, citing sources, doing the things you're supposed to do. Don't scrub out controversies. And then recognize that you don't own any article on Wikipedia. It's owned by everyone. And even if you're editing an article about a subject you feel like you're the #1 world's expert about, somebody is going to also think that they're the #1 world expert about that. So just realize you can't own any article on encyclopedia, even if it's the article about the Tech LadyMafia, or about the, you work in a community and we can all contribute to that article and we could make it better. But we have to do so in a way that's collaborative and not with a sense of it belonging to us. All right. Any questions before we move into the nitty-gritty? Okay, so that's the community side. Now I'm going to kind of walk you through the physical makeup of a Wikipedia article. Again, we look at them every day, but how closely do we look? So I'm going to walk you through, and you feel free to pull up any Wikipedia article, or you can look at this one, Louise Nevelson. She's a favorite American sculptor, so I like to use her as an example. Go ahead and look along the top of the article. There's some tabs. So by default, all of us, when we come to Wikipedia, we land on the article tab and the read tab, because that's most of what we're doing, right? We're reading articles. But there are other tabs. For example, talk, right next to article. Talk is the place where dialogue about this article occurs. So Editors can raise issues, suggest resources, document all kinds of things about this article, just one tab away. Most of us probably never click on that tab, but it's a very interesting way to see what the conversation has been around an article. Similarly, if there's been no conversation around an article, I think that's telling in a certain way too. Perhaps this article hasn't had a lot of eyeballs on it. Maybe it's not being cared for as much as other articles. And then over here, another set of tabs, read. I've got 2 edit tabs here because I've turned on a feature I'll show you in a minute. And then there's view history. View history is another favorite tab that I would encourage everyone to look at when evaluating the quality of a Wikipedia article. You can see every edit, character for character, that's been made through the history of the article and who made it. Sometimes you can see, who that editor was. You can track their history. You can kind of get to know where this article came from and who contributed to it. Sometimes there's a lot of people on there. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 passionate, dedicated people who've brought it to fruition. Okay. Excuse me. So right here on the right is another interesting thing that probably most people don't notice about Wikipedia articles. This article here on Louise Nevelson has been given good article status. It's been reviewed through a systematic process by other editors and has been given this little green cross. So there are whole lists of good articles on Wikipedia, and you can see kind of what are some examples you might look to. Even higher than the good article status is the featured article status. That's a gold star. So if you see an article with a gold star over here, those are the highest quality articles on the encyclopedia, and they have been featured on the homepage of Wikipedia at some point. So those are really your aspirational articles. If you want to get a good model for what your kind of article should look like, look at featured articles or good articles and use those as your kind of guidelines. All right, so up here is our title. Style-wise, this is the main time we use boldface, is when we're in that first line repeating the name of the article. We don't bold throughout the body of the article typically. That's not consistent with Wikipedia's style guidelines. Over here on the right, this nice little handy way to get an at-a-glance summary of the article is called an info box. The info boxes are created through a template in Wikipedia, and that's handy because you can just fill in the data that's specific to your article. And they're also they're structured data. So for those of you who make web stuff, you can appreciate that the information that's in an info box can be taken into other projects because it's structured. And then the table of contents here, another nice feature of the encyclopedia, it's generated automatically based on the headings that you apply throughout the body. So for example, here's a secondary level heading, tertiary level heading, and these are sort of sucked up into the top to create your table of contents. Here you can see there's a red link, and red just means that if you clicked on that, there's no article about this topic. So red links on the encyclopedia could be a kind of a marker for you, like maybe someone should go in and create that article. It's also a convenient way to make articles yourself. If you create a red link and then click on it and then put in content, you're creating the article with that name. And you'll notice this article prove the fact that they're stating. An interesting thing about footnotes, all that you see here is like the little number of the footnote. Actually, if you looked at the markup behind the scenes, the full citation lives in the body of the article next to the fact that it's verifying. But because of the way the markup works, you only see the number and then the citation is displayed down at the bottom. This was something that I remember when I first started threw me off because I would want to fix a citation and I'd scroll down to the bottom and there was nothing there. And it's because each citation lives in the body next to the fact it's citing. And here here's where they're displayed down at the bottom, your footnotes. See alsos are other Wikipedia articles related to your topic. References might be what you would read if you want to know more, like further reading. And then external links at the very, very bottom. This is the only place in a Wikipedia article that we link outside of Wikipedia. So we don't embed external links to other websites in the body of Wikipedia articles. We only link to other Wikipedia articles. But if there's a relevant .com or other kind of resource that we want to use, and it's not a citation, we can put it in this external links area. So that's maybe the official website for this person or their foundation. All right, hands on. Are we ready? Everybody have Wi-Fi? Yes.
I have a quick question about the verification, the green cross and the gold
Mhm.
star. Who decides what pages get those?
That is a process. It's gosh, there are many layers of review that have to happen for both of those. Basically, you can nominate your article for good article status or for featured article status, and then volunteer reviewers kind of go through, evaluate what you've done against the style guidelines, and basically vote on. Yeah.
So, and typically the reviewer will come up with a checklist and put it on a 5-page menu. And then you check off each item that they come up with. And there's more information in the good article review.
Yep.
Every colon good article review, there should be a whole, how-to list there.
Yeah. And what is the turnaround time usually to take an article from when an author thinks it's good enough to when the community agrees that it's a good article? Like, is that it's many months, right?
No.
Often, no.
It depends on backlog.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends on how, if you're a regular person, you kind of build rapport with reviewers.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you review theirs.
Yeah, networking, just like real life.
Yeah, but yeah, it is kind of maybe a month.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
Right. So it's it's an intense process, but that's how I think some of the best work happens. Is people are very motivated by the pride of having had a certain number of good articles or featured articles.
So there's a competition every year, and so part of it is having a good article.
Okay, so we're talking about WikiCup and the sort of incentivizing of good article or featured article creation, making kind of a friendly competition. So go to WP:*Good Article Review for more information.
It's good article nomination.
GAM.
GAN.
Good article nomination. Okay, let's tweet that. So, yes.
I didn't get it clearly. Did you say that anyone can update or do Wikipedia?
Yes, anyone can update Wikipedia. Any person around the world of any age or any background can click edit and update Wikipedia. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, but then how do you control the content? Well,
Yeah.
like the one you just said.
Right.
You have access to it.
So you control the content by having a very active user community who's keeping an eye on what's happening and protecting it from vandalism. Part of that is, human effort, volunteer effort. Part of that has been automated through the creation of bots or other kinds of automatic patrols that can look for the kinds of edits that are typically associated with vandalism. So the community's been very smart, I think, about writing scripts to do the work for them, because you can imagine there are millions of edits going on and not enough volunteers to police every single one. But so certain things are managed by bots and others are managed by human review. And, frankly, they're defending the gates. There's a lot of non-helpful editing going on. And so people need to make sure that doesn't stick, right?
And even more problematic is the COI.
Yes, certainly. You have people advocating or trying to, PR firms trying to polish up somebody's Wikipedia article. There are a lot of conflict of interest and non-helpful edits happening, and the community is vigilant and dedicated, and thank goodness they are, because if they weren't, it wouldn't be nearly such a useful encyclopedia.
Basically, if you're not polite and you type in lots of bad words that the filters pick out, the abuse filters, Wikipedia is just like you are in public. It doesn't respond to you. It just refuses to take your edit if you're really if you're using a lot of words that hit the abuse filters. And then there are people who simply look at every every article and the recent changes, and look at every edit and every article, right? And usually it's about 25 people who will look at your article now. And sometimes if it's really busy, there are about 35 people who look at a new article when you write it. Just out of curiosity to see what a new article is. So.
All right, so for all the reasons that I mentioned a minute ago about privacy and the value of being part of the community, I would encourage you to register a user account if you haven't done so already. So it's pretty simple to do. You go to Wikipedia, click Create Account, and choose a username and password. Now the policy is that there should be a 1-to-1 ratio between editors and accounts. So according to that, you shouldn't be sharing an account with someone else. You shouldn't create a community account in the name of your organization. And similarly, you also probably should not edit create a bunch of accounts that are all tied to you, right? You should just have one account that's your account. So if you create a whole bunch of alternate identities and you edit under all of them, the problem with that is when things get contentious, like this should be deleted or this should be reverted, people use that to kind of argue with themselves or support themselves and create these sort of false identities to support their work. So the stated preference is that everyone register just one account and it's tied to an individual person. So has anybody not been able to register an account or running into any trouble? Also, you know, anonymity versus disclosing your true identity. I think just go with whatever your policy is on the internet in general. Do you talk about who you are online, or do you prefer to have a more anonymous presence? And that's totally up to the individual. This is an issue when they're trying to figure out like how many women are editing, right? Like people may not want to disclose they are a woman on Wikipedia. So it becomes tricky to see if, you know, we can get really good data about that. Okay, and step 2, for those of you who are entering the wiki world for the first time and you are wishing it had a WYSIWYG, or what you see is what you get editor that was like Microsoft Word, you can turn on a new beta feature. It's a little buggy, it's not perfect yet. It's called Visual Editor. And for those who are non-technical, which is most of the time people I present to, this is a relief that they don't have to learn wiki markup in order to contribute. So if you're interested in seeing the WYSIWYG editor, you have to go to the Preferences link at the top of the page, and then go to the tab, I think it's on the very right, it says Beta or Beta Features. And once you're in Beta Features, you have to scroll down and check a box called Visual Editor. So Visual Editor is the kind of the easy way to get started with content edits. If you have experience working on markup like HTML or other wiki markups, you'll find that it's pretty easy to pick up the markup that's specific to MediaWiki. So, you know, I've laid out the kind of the differences between edit source and edit beta here. Edit beta is this visual editor. Edit source is the traditional way that one had to edit Wikipedia. In the past, there was no visual editor. It was only working directly on markup. I listed here, if you're interested in learning the markup, type in WP:cheat in the search box, and that'll give you a cheat sheet for the kind of simple shorthand of the basic tags you'll need to know. And there's also more information here for if you want to learn more about the visual editor. I would say pros and cons. Edit source is good if you really want the platform demystified for you, right? Like you're somebody who's comfortable working in the web. You're you know, you're not afraid of seeing some brackets and some curly brackets and pointy things. If you get turned off by markup or that's not your area, you might be happier working in the visual editor because you don't have to deal with looking at all the markup. So it's really up to you and your experience. And each has some pros and cons. You always are going to have more flexibility with edit source, just like if you edit your own code or work, you know, directly in HTML, you know, you have the ultimate control, but it may not be the most efficient for all users. All right, step 3. Now that we've all registered our accounts, we're going to create a user page, or you can create a sandbox. So up at the very tippy top of your page, you might see a red link that's got your username on it, or a red link that says sandbox. And if you still have those links red and you haven't created anything on Wikipedia yet, now is your chance. So click on one of those red links, either your username or the one that says sandbox, and write something in there. Do your hello world edit, or try putting in, you know, whatever you want. Scroll down and click show preview, which will kind of help you see what it's going to look like when you finally save it, which is good to know. Always nice to test before it goes live, and then save it. There's also a little space you'll see for leave a comment, which is nice because on your own user page, it's not so important that you leave a comment, but certainly when you're editing throughout the encyclopedia, it's important to leave comments so that other people know what your contribution was and why you did it. Is everybody able to create a user page or a sandbox?
What's the difference between the sandbox and the user page?
Okay, so yeah, that's a good question. User page is your like about me, right? Your profile page where you can say anything or nothing about who you are. Totally up to you, not a requirement. And the sandbox is a place to kind of play around. So like if I'm working on a draft of an article and I don't want it to go live somewhere yet, I can edit to my heart's content in my sandbox. And it's not going to bother anybody. It belongs to me. It's my little play space. So if you are not really comfortable with the encyclopedia yet, the sandbox is a great place to experiment. You can cut and paste them, or you can move them. Yeah, there's two ways.
Because the history goes when you move.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, cut and paste.
Some people like move, some people like cut and paste.
It's hard to remember too because it's hidden.
Yes. When you give the tutorial, you'll use the hidden move. You'll demystify the move button, which we can do once we get started too. Any other questions? Anybody stuck? Okay.
So
Yes.
user page will be seen by
Yes. Any page can be seen by anyone. Yes. Yeah. There are no secrets on Wikipedia. Yeah.
Every time you do something, everyone can see it. It's just some things are more out of the way than others. People don't care.
But can someone delete or undo from the sandbox?
Yeah. They wouldn't, because that would be a terrible thing to do. And you could revert it. It would be a weird, jerky thing to do. And usually people shouldn't touch your sandbox. The other page that you've got, remember I said how every article has a talk page? You also have a talk page, right? You have a user page and you have a talk page. The talk page is where people will leave messages for you. So it's your, your message board. An interesting thing to know about talk pages is that the new information is at the bottom. So it's not like a blog where the new things automatically appear at the top. But that's a place to keep tabs on when people are sending you a message or want to discuss with you something that you might have done. So conversations happen on user talk pages as well as on article talk pages.
So people without logging in, they can update.
Yes. And you can see that in the edit history, right? So if you go to view history, you'll see some people are just a string of numbers. That's an IP address capturing their location of that anonymous edit or non-logged in edit. So they're there, and it's a mix. I mean, some articles have a lot of anonymous edits, and some articles don't. But you can look at the history of any individual editor too, right? So all the edits that that person or that IP has done can be viewed. So yeah, it's a very, very transparent platform. Quick note about citing sources, which is something we talked about earlier, that you need to provide these reliable secondary sources. When you're editing, I really like this little cite menu that's in the regular, actually this is in the edit beta. So both of these, edit source and edit beta, have a kind of automatic citation toolbar that allows you to easily add different types of sources. And these are some of the basic common secondary sources: a website, book, news, journal. And those are, it gives you like a little form, and you can just plug in like the name of the newspaper, the date, and you don't have to figure out the markup for all of that template. You can just plug it in here, which I think is a handy thing. All right, just a note about creating a brand new article from scratch. Some people find it much easier to get started editing an existing article than to jump right into creating a new article from scratch. But if you're feeling ambitious and you want to create a new article from scratch, there's two ways to do it. Well, there's probably more than two. But the two basic paths are the trap that most people fall into and the better way.
Yes.
Very opinionated on this topic. The trap most people fall into is they'll create a draft of something, maybe in their sandbox, and there's a big button that'll say like submit for review. Okay? And it'll go into this queue, very long backlog queue of new articles that are being reviewed and then published. The truth is, this process is not required nor necessary for editors who have created an account. It's a process that came into being really for the IP editors, right? The people who are anonymous and didn't want to create an account. How can they publish new articles? They'll go into this review queue and some logged in user will publish for them. We don't have to do that. And I think the better way is to avoid that process, because what happens is you get in a queue, it's months or I don't know how long, and then the person who's reviewing, which isn't a required process, may not know what they're looking at or may not understand, the notability criteria. People are in a hurry, and I don't think they always do the best job in this review queue. It's called Articles for Creation, or AFC. And I feel like their default mode is they pretty much always reject your article. So if you want your article to end up on Wikipedia, the better way, I think, is to just create the article. Just do that. Don't submit it to be reviewed by anyone. Just create it. So this is the process for doing so. You search around, make sure the article doesn't exist elsewhere under a different or similar name. Once you confirmed it doesn't already exist, maybe it's about a person or a topic, then you start drafting that stub version of that article in your sandbox. Include some citations. Be sure you declare very clearly in the upfront sort of part of the article why it's notable. This person was the first woman who, was a marine biologist in the United States in the 40s, but whatever. Say why this person meets the notability criteria in the first sentence. So there's no ambiguity about whether or not they merit an article. Get this stub shaped up. And then once you're ready to create the article, what I like to do is I will take the exact phrase I want to use for the name of the article, search for it in that search box. I won't find it. It'll come up as a red link. And then when I click on that red link, it'll prompt me, do you want to create this article? And that's where I paste in that markup that I created in my sandbox and save it. Now, you're right, that doesn't capture the history I went through in my sandbox. But this is the way that you just publish an article, and then, provided that you're a registered user who has a minimum number of edits, it just appears. It's on the encyclopedia. Now, other processes kick in, the sort of new article patrol. People will come by and make sure that it's up to snuff. But overall, I think this is a process that significantly increases your chances of getting your article to stick around versus the other process, which is that submit for review, articles for creation process. So just to say submit for review, even though a button is very hard to resist, right? It's big and shiny and sort of looks 3D and you want to click on it, telling you to submit for review, don't do it. Okay, last thing I'm going to talk about, and then I will let you get going. Images. So there's two ways to get images onto Wikipedia. The preferred way, if we can do it, is to add the image first to our media repository, the Wikimedia Commons. So Wikimedia Commons is a great host of free media that can be used not just to populate Wikipedia, but all of the Wikimedia projects. There's a lot of great, interesting projects they do. And so this repository of media can populate all of those. So if an image is free for reuse, it doesn't have any copyright restrictions or other issues, it is eligible to be uploaded to Wikimedia Commons. So here's an example of an Ansel Adams photograph, but he took it for the US government, and so therefore it's in the public domain. It has no restrictions on it, and so it can be added to Wikimedia Commons, and then it can be used in as many Wikipedia articles as we want to illustrate any kinds of topics, from an article about rivers to about the Tetons to about Ansel Adams. So that's the ideal, right, is you have free copyright-free images that we can use. Now, of course, most images, especially those created in the last century or so, have some kind of copyright thing gumming them up. So But sometimes you need to use an image in Wikipedia to illustrate a point about a thing. Like you couldn't have an article about this work of art, for example, Look Mickey, without showing the work of art, right? You can't just talk about it and not show it because it's necessary in order to understand what the article is about. So in those cases where you have a copyright restricted thing, maybe it's a photograph, maybe it's a work of art, maybe it's a, some kind of corporate logo, you can use it one time under this, fair use rationale. You can upload one non-free image for an article. So in this case, the article about Look Mickey has this painting in it that was uploaded under the non-free image justification. And instead of living on the Wikimedia Commons image server infrastructure, it lives locally in the wikipedia.org infrastructure, right? So it lives in a different place in the back end, and it's also got some restrictions on what you can do with it. You can only use it one time. So I can't use this to illustrate an article about Donald Duck, right? Or on my user page. Yeah, bummer. So one page, that's it. That's all you get. So this is, the less desirable route, but for certain things, you're never going to find a really free image, so you can't get around it. Again, if you're really interested in adding images, check with one of the experienced Wikipedians in the room who can kind of step you through the process. Last thing I want to say, thank you for listening to me talk for so long. One of the things I love that has been added to Wikipedia in recent years lives in the edit history page. And in the edit history, so you can see, I screenshotted this from an article that my friend Sarah Bender was working on, and she had been working hard on this particular article. And it used to be that the only way I could interact with her from here, I guess I could go to her talk page and leave her a note, but primarily I was being prompted to undo, right? So that it created a kind of perhaps confrontational environment. Like if the primary way that editors got to know each other was by undoing each other's work, it maybe is not the friendliest atmosphere. So I love that they added this second link called thank. So now I don't have to make a big to-do out of it, but I can see that she's been working hard on this article, and I can just click thank, and she gets a little message, a little ding that I thanked her for her work, and that makes her feel great. She's a volunteer. I'm a volunteer. We're doing this, for love, not money. So to be thanked is a very powerful thing, and I think bringing that spirit of collaboration and appreciation to other editors. I know I can remember clearly the editors who've thanked me for things that I've worked on, and I've never met them or seen them. They're not in this area. They may be on the other side of the world, but the fact that they acknowledged that I had been working hard is motivation to keep doing it in the future. So it just rolls back to the previous version. Yeah. Which sometimes is called for. But if you don't have to, and if they do something great, thank them. So. Oh, it's probably been a
well, it's part of the new notifications rollout. It's only
yeah. Well, this is 2013. We're on this. Yeah. So just in the last few years, but I really like it.
They had to fight to do that too.
Yeah. They need Miss Manners on developing. Yeah. So edit liberally and thank liberally. And if you have questions, we're going to walk around the room, and you'll have people around the room who can answer. Yeah.
Should we have a common space where we list what we're working on so that we don't?
Yes. So there's not a. Let's see. So often we've used like Pirate Pad or some kind of shared real-time spot to say what we're working on. I don't know if one was set up for this, but we could certainly put one together right now. What's a good hackpad? Is that your?
You can put that on the meetup page.
Okay, so James is going to create a hackpad and link it from the meetup page.
I can do that.
Thank you.
What should I call it?
Tech LadyMafia.
Okay, I created it. And now to move to it from the meetup.
Yeah. So what is it?
Well, it's a long convoluted. You can just
I could type it.
You can just go to wikimediadc.ipad.com.
wikimediadc.hackpad.com.
Should I put it on the to-do list?
TLM. Sign up. All right, wikimediadc.hackpad.com. And we can say, if you're working on an article, you find something that you're really eager to work on, let people know here so that others don't bump into you and happen to be working on the same thing at the same time, which is an edit-a-thon problem more than a regular life problem. So on the meetup page, we have a to-do list. From Wiki Project Women in Technology, a brand new wiki project. And I didn't really talk about wiki projects, but it's a place where people can collaborate around a topic. There's some very active ones out there. Wow, this is cool. So there are some folks who've been nominated here, maybe for biographies. But also, if there's a topic that you happen to know a lot about and you think the Wikipedia article isn't up to snuff, you can certainly claim that as your project for the evening. So did I answer this question about can we edit the article about Tech Lady Mafia?
I mean, does anyone get paid by Tech LadyMafia? So I guess since none of you are actually paid to edit, I guess it's
I don't
fine.
think it's like, the government has a official organ. It's just a group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a Google group, and they have a website.
Then it should be fine as long as you are.
And the website's a ton.
Yeah.
As long as you're being careful, then you should be fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any, let's see. Any questions right now? Okay, let's see if they're just in case.
Are you making some announcements?
No. I will let you know at the end of your announcements. I don't think so. Anyone having any trouble with Wi-Fi at this point? Probably not, but okay, good.
Okay, real quick, if you're not inspired by the list online, there are a bunch of journals on the history of technology that I have to go to Albert from. Several people here are podcasters or writing dissertations or taking photographs for chapters. If you don't wish to be covered or interviewed or anything, then just tell the person telling me. I'm Peter. And WikiDC is a member organization. For $10 a year, you can support us. And you don't get anything, but you support us. And when you go to heaven, they will appreciate it. You get lots of free food.
I have gotten my $10.
Oh, yes, and in 5 minutes, we're going to get sandwiches. We'll be bringing back sandwiches.
Yes.
Okay. And we have sodas outside and
A huge thank you to Taoti. Next time Bree's in the room, we should just like clap for her. She's been extremely helpful and great to work with for this space. There is beer outside the room. I think the keg is almost tapped, but if you act now, there is an echo right here. It's kind of funny. And there was something, so on the event page, you can get to it from your email, but whatever. There's a short link that's really difficult to read if you prefer to do it the hard way. I added a link to the slides in 1 or 2 places. If you Control F for slides, you will find it, or I think it's next to the program schedule thing by training. And I may have also added it to the part where it says if you're joining us virtually, so the slides are there, they're on SlideShare. Thank you to Sarah for the training, fantastic. And also, if you go to the YouTube link that's the for the training. You can, I think you should be able to watch it from the beginning. I'm not really sure. I think once I stop it here, maybe it generates a video that you can watch later in your free time when you're really bored. And then the other thing is that, Sarah, can I mention July or should I not? Okay, so very excited to say that we're actually already have scheduled our second Tech LadyMafia partnered edit-a-thon for Saturday, July 25th,
Nice.
partnering with the Smithsonian American Art Museum. Thank you, Sarah. And so that'll be on a Saturday for like a true thon, I think, size of time. 4 hours isn't totally a thon size in my brain, but it's a fantastic introduction. So this will be a lot longer on a Saturday and more people, and it should be super exciting. Lots of details to follow, but save the date, Saturday, July 25th at the Smithsonian American Art Museum. Thank you so much for being here, and definitely don't be shy about asking for help. These people really, really want to help us all get more comfortable in here, and that's what we're here to do.
You can scroll to the bottom
Yes.
there, of that page, where it says outcomes.
Oh yeah, do that.
We want to be proud of what we do. We want to have, do a reload.
Refresh.
Already outcomes. We want to keep track of things that get done and done. So some things have already been edited and people even put it there.
I remember who line was, I think.
Yeah, outcomes pretty broad.
Any questions at this point in time for the group? Okay, thank you guys. Enjoy, have fun.
Oh, wait,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The space where we know that not everyone's working on the same thing.
Oh, the hack pad.
Is that the link is in there?
I don't know.
It is below the CDS.
Awesome. Thank you.
Now I'm realizing. I'm realizing for the webcast people, I'm sorry, I didn't scroll to the bottom and I was in the wrong window. Sorry about that. There we are now. Haha. Okay. I'm going to stop the broadcast. No, I'm not. I'm going to check and see if somebody asked a question before I do that. Any questions? Yes. Good instruction. Okay, good. Great. Now I'm going to stop the broadcast.